What is up, and welcome back to a brand new video. We just got a flood in Brisbane that is not going to help that city's growth, especially considering it's not on fresh water. But anyway, so far we are catching up in pretty much everything: gold, science, culture. We're even starting to generate a little bit of faith, which is extremely nice. Oh, don't want to deal with those barbarians, and Scythia has a pretty scary military right now. Yeah, she doesn't like me that much. Ideally, we'd get friends with Scythia, and oh, well, there's China. That's the culture civ we were talking about, by the way. And they just made this game a lot harder. I think they're past the point where they can use build charges to speed up wonders, which is fantastic. It would suck if it was an all-game thing. That would be that would be fucking terrible. But right now, it doesn't seem like they're making many great person points. I think they're making 2 great person points of each great writer, artist, and musician. So we should have almost all the great writers, artists, and musician. Why would there be another drought? There's already a drought going on. Is it droughting the drought? Drought. Drought. But yeah, and there's Packatui. That'll be the last civ, and let us trade some amenities and lots of gold. There we go. Yeah, I'm trying to get friends with everyone this game. Get a lot of diplomatic favor, which would help offset me occupying Australia's capital, sorry. Okay, we just got a butt ton of science. That's about 2 full technologies we just earned there. Very nice. And yeah, okay. So far, science-wise, we are doing great. That's actually a super archer, man. He's going to take out everybody. Defender of Philadelphia. But yeah, we're doing pretty well for science right now. I feel like we need to focus more on the cultural side of things, especially considering China has 100 more culture than we do. Definitely more culture, I'll give them that. But anyway, we have pretty much finished settling everything. We are starting to build the buildings in our districts. Workshops and amphitheaters are really what we need right now. Let us get tourism bonus for Pingala. Okay. Don't think I got the tourism bonus for Pingala. I don't think he's in my capital, so it would kind of be a waste right now. We are getting humanism in about 9 turns, which should help our great artist generation, and we can build some museums to hold art and artifacts. So this is the point in the game, around turn 142, turn 150 really, where tourism really starts to ramp up. Like I said, this isn't like a science victory where you have to focus on science from the start, or a domination victory where you have to ideally take out a civ's capital from the start. With a culture victory, it's all about tourism. So even if you're lagging behind in culture early on like we are, all that really matters is getting tourism. And if you get it by turn 150, you should be good. So I am trading a lot of gold to get some more great works, because right now I am just going all in on tourism. 17 tourism per turn. I think China's at about 50 right now, so we definitely have to catch up. But after we start excavating archaeological digs, something the AI isn't particularly good at, and also the fact that China isn't making any great artists or anything at all. I actually declared war on China because they declared war on Pakatui, so I just got the entire world to declare on them. We are trying to slow them down as much as possible so we can catch up. They do have a pretty decent-sized military, but they are technologically behind Scythia and Pakatui, so that should be enough of an incentive for them to stop focusing on culture for a while. Now, as you can see, China's allies are Nanmandol and Rapa Nui. I think Nanmandol gives 2 culture for every coastal district, which is a lot, and a big reason why they're making almost 200 culture per turn. And Rapa Nui gives the Stonehead, I think it's called, which is a really good culture tile improvement that ends up giving tourism later on in the game. So we are definitely going to want to steal those city-states from them, but to do that we need envoys, which we would primarily get from civics, which needs more culture. So it all boils down to get as much culture as we can. We are making 25 tourism per turn, so we are starting to catch up in the tourism game. Um, I think soon we're going to start building some theater squares so we can catch up in faith as well. And money situation's not looking too good, but then again, I did trade most of it to Mongolia for some great works, which I think is worth it. So you're going to put the great artist points because that is what we are making less of, and trade confederation would help us climb even more in science and culture, which is exactly what happens. Now we are going to start building art museums to increase our great artist generation, and we are also starting to make a little bit more diplomatic favor due to the alliances we got going on. Now, Scythia doesn't even hate me, which is actually pretty good, and maybe we can even ally to them later on. Last settled city of St. Louis, we're just going to buy a few tiles so that Genghis doesn't steal any. Not a lot of tiles near St. Louis. Um, yeah, I try to double salt, it doesn't work out, and there is a flood that pretty much destroys everything. Okay, Theater Square, very nice. We're actually going to repair the commercial hub in Los Angeles because we need that last trade route. We are making negative 11.5 gold per turn. We got to get that fixed ASAP. Scythia is friendly with me, so I can hopefully make friends with them. There we go. And we get a nice alliance with them. We had a cultural alliance with Scythia because they are the least threatening culture civ in the entire game, so I'm okay with that. And hopefully we can slowly but surely start catching up to China. Now, they do have a lot of envoys in the culture city-states, but I feel like I will be able to eventually overtake them, especially if I get Amani's last ability. And we'll build a temple in Brisbane to increase our faith output, and I'm not gonna lie, Pakatui has a pretty decent military, so I feel like he should be able to cause some problems for Qin Shi Huang's diminishing military score. I do make peace with Qin Shi Huang, however, because apparently the Inca made peace with him for some reason. So I do try to get some great works from them and a lot of gold per turn to help my money situation. Like I said, right now the most important thing is trying to get as many great works as possible, as much tourism as possible, and culture really isn't that, well, it's important, but it's not like a direct win condition. Kind of like how promotions aren't important for units. Well, it's important, but it isn't technically needed for a domination victory. Well, I guess culture is kind of needed to get tourism, because you have to go down the civics. Just forget what I said. I am completely out of it today. Right now, our cities are starting to slow down growth-wise. We are probably going to have to build more farms. Yeah, China's making about 60 tourism per turn. We're catching up there, though. We're getting close. Like I said, because of their low, unique, artistic grade people score, they probably don't have a lot of theater squares and amphitheaters. So as long as we keep building culture buildings, we should not only overtake them in culture and tourism, but also surpass them by a lot. I think we can actually get 1,000 tourism per game if we put our heads to it. America had, not tourism, culture. Tourism, we'd probably only get around 800. Okay. So looking at everything right now, we are just going to repair with our builders. We will need a few more builders to chop out everything else, because Rapa Nui's unique improvement means we can't have rainforest or forests beside the unique tile improvement. I forget what it's called. Also, we will get lots of culture per amphitheater and archaeological museum, which would help increase our culture by immense amounts. We are making 96 culture per turn. We will eventually catch up to China. And science-wise, we are the second highest science civ in the game, which is pretty impressive, considering the fact that we were behind by a lot earlier on in the game. So we're just going to increase our science outputs, build a lumber mill, even though I probably should have chopped that. Um, yeah, our cities are starting to slow down growth-wise a lot. We should probably build more granaries, farms, and eventually sewers as well. And after opera and ballet, we could put in the +4 great musician points card. But right now, even though musicians give the most tourism out of any great work, we don't have anywhere to put them, at least until we get the Bolshoi theaters and our unique building, the film studio. So right now, we are just hoping Mongolia doesn't declare war on us, and we are getting even more districts out. The more districts, the better. We do have a few builders going around building some tiles, and we are damn near as much tourism as China. We almost have as much tourism as China. Very nice. We'll start building even more museums, build a farm in Charleston just to help increase growth a little bit, and perfect, give me that luxury. I will try to take the great work though, thank you. I think about 50 diplomatic favor to 70 would get you a single great work from any civilization, although at a certain point they do stop giving it to you if you're close to a culture victory, or way ahead of anybody else in culture. I think that's what happens. And just like that, we are at 125 culture per turn, way higher than what we started out this video with. I think it was around like 60 to 70. So we're going to get that last great artist thingy. Actually, there's going to be one more, and our culture should, our tourism, sorry, should be as much as China during the next turn. There we go. Let's get more tobacco. Let us get another lumber mill. And mercantilism is going to be researched next turn. It only took one turn for some reason. That's kind of impressive. Colonialism is going to take 5 turns, and there is a barbarian encampment to the south that I'm too lazy to go take out, but I guarantee you it's going to bite me in the ass later. So, scientific theory next turn, excellent, and after colonialism we will get 2 more city-state envoys. We are getting a lot of envoys right now, and soon we should hopefully be able to overtake China in the culture city-states. Speaking of culture, we have almost surpassed China. I think we're pretty much tied for second most culture in the game, and we haven't even entered our final form yet. So right now I feel like the one thing that could mess us up is if somebody declares war on me, which there it is, it's never going to happen. China, we can declare friends with them. Absolutely perfect. Give me the embassy. Let's get a whatever type of alliance. That's perfect. And I'll take Heartbeat of Steam to give me some sweet, sweet production. I will also start on the Bolshoi Theater because I do have a great engineer coming up soon. And the Bolshoi Theater is incredible, allowing me to get a head start on unique musicians. So we're going to upgrade Rayla a little bit for some more money that we can use to trade away for more great works. And we are tied for first in science per turn. Who would have thought we'd have been here? Not us, that's for sure. The one problem I think I have is my cities aren't growing as fast as I'd like them to. Washington isn't doing too bad, or the northern post-Australian cities, but I really need 4, maybe even 5 districts in some of these cities to keep up with science, culture. I'm going to need faith districts soon. But we do have a few cities that can hopefully step up to the challenge, especially the Australian cities that are already at 10 population. So we are going to get even more tourism, and I think we might have overpassed China for most tourism in the game. And we almost passed them for getting suzerainty of these cultured city-states, which would help us even more. So we do get a great engineer who is going to help put production into the Bolshoi Theater, and because of that, we should be able to get the Bolshoi Theater before anybody else. Looking at China, they aren't building it right now, and when I said that barbarian encampment I didn't want to take out was going to bite me in the ass, I was not kidding. There's a musketman. Apparently not even our super archers can take out musketmen with ease. So I'm going to build a few units. I do need to upgrade my military just a little bit. Ideally somebody would have taken out that encampment and we wouldn't have had to deal with it because I don't want to spend time building units. I just want to build culture. Speaking of which, we have almost tied China. By next video, we should be able to supersede them. Let us get Bolshoi Theater, and this looks to be the end of the video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.